Hi everyone, and welcome to GCTV Green Community Television. I'm Julie McMahan, Director of Communication and Community Relations for our Green Local School District, and your host for today's program, the Bulldog Buzz. The Bulldog Buzz is one of our featured talk shows, part of our communication department. The Bulldog Buzz is a show highlighting people, special events, students, staff, community partners, just about anything that's creating a buzz of excitement within our Bulldog Nation. The Sandy Hook Promise is a national nonprofit organization founded and led by several family members whose loved ones were killed at Sandy Hook Elementary School on December 14, 2012. Based in Newtown, Connecticut, Sandy Hook Promise began as a way to honor all victims of gun violence by turning that town's tragedy into a moment of transformation by providing programs and practices that protect children from gun violence. My guest today is Annie Stevens, Sandy Hook Field Coordinator for Ohio, and someone I have become fast friends with, to talk about a very special nationwide initiative called Start with Hello. The Start with Hello call to action begins Monday, February 8th, and I am absolutely thrilled to announce Green Local Schools will be fully immersed in activities at every building as we work together to raise awareness and educate our community to create a culture of inclusion and connectedness. Annie, it is a pleasure to welcome you to Green Local Schools.
Thank you so much, Julie.
Oh, we are just thrilled. I'm thrilled to have you here. I know you and I have talked several times leading up to this point.
Yes.
And as I said, I feel like we have connected in so many different ways, and it is truly just a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
So let's start with this amazing call to action and just kind of give me a little bit of background. First, let me start with you. How did you get involved with the Sandy Hook Foundation?
Well, I became interested in the Sandy Hook Promise as soon as I heard about it. I'm a mom of 2 young kids, and I think all of us as parents were deeply affected by the tragic events that happened in Sandy Hook. So when I heard about the Sandy Hook Promise, I think it actually was when they first read the promise a month later after the tragedy. I became immediately interested. I went online, I signed the promise, and from then I just felt fueled by that.
I love that word. It does. It kind of fuels you and just kind of gets you so, I don't know, empowered, and you just want to go out and start that transformation, as we said. And,
absolutely.
And kind of their mission about it. And you are here in Ohio, correct?
I am. I'm actually out of Columbus, Ohio, but I'm responsible for the northern part of the state. So I travel up a little bit north, and I get to meet some really great people up here.
And you know, when I think about that day, I know it's one of those, I think, tragic moments in history. Well, you will always remember when you heard.
Absolutely.
And you know, for me, it hit home, one, because I'm a mom too, but also in my role here as a communication director for Green Schools, you know, I think not on my watch. This will not happen. To the best of our ability, that we will do everything in our power to prevent not only this tragedy, but like we have said with the Sandy Hook Promise, that it's really to prevent all tragedies from happening and what we can do with it. So when I first learned about this, like you, I was fueled. I said, we have got to be a part of this. So let's talk about the Sandy Hook Promise and what that really means. And the promise says, I promise to do all I can to protect children from gun violence by encouraging and supporting solutions that create safer, healthier homes, schools, and communities. I love it. I just love it. So when you first read that and you said you signed on for the promise, how did that make you feel? Like that you were automatically part of something bigger than yourself?
I did. I felt empowered for the first time. And what I love about the programs is, yes, it started out of a tragedy that involved a gun, but we're not a gun control organization. We have no stance on the Second Amendment. What we want to do is we want to intervene in the days, the weeks, even the years prior to a weapon becoming part of a child's story.
You know, and that leads me right into my next comment and kind of area I wanted to pursue a little more with you, is about that gun control. And what I love about the promise is that it's supporting solutions. And so taking away everybody's gun is not necessarily the solution. And that's what I think I really want to stress to our viewers and to our community too, that is not what this is necessarily about, and especially not our call to action week.
No, not at all.
So it really identifies solutions, and I have to share with you, as I was doing some of my homework before I brought you here, I saw the one video about the monsters under the bed.
I love that video.
It was, and that was so powerful to me because, and I encourage everybody to go to your website and look at that, and we'll give some of that information a little bit later in the show. But saying, you know what, as a parent, I can protect you, my child, from those monsters that we can't see. But I struggle as a parent to protect you from the monsters we can see.
Yeah.
And so then we need to come up with those solutions for it. And I think that's where we kind of come into Start With Hello.
Yeah.
So what is Start With Hello?
Start With Hello is a fantastic program designed for youth. So kids 2nd grade and up can empower themselves to be part of the community. We have a lot of problems with social isolation these days.
And let's talk about that. Just,
Sure.
that's, I don't want to say that's one of those pop culture words, because I think sometimes that can be way overused in many different venues.
Sure.
But your understanding, and when you're promoting, say, Start With Hello, what do you define social isolation as?
Well, social isolation is very different from someone who's just shy or introverted. Somebody who's socially isolated may exhibit behavior that's different from the typical. Maybe you have, for an example, someone who's very outgoing and cheerful, and all of a sudden they're withdrawing, they're removing themselves from those situations that are the typical for them. It may be someone who's sitting at lunch by themselves that isn't normally. It might be someone who's got their hoodie up and earbuds. It could be somebody who just feels lonely and invisible. And
so
that's a hard one.
Would it be fair to say that social isolation, especially in a school setting, specifically in a school setting, that could be directly related to some hidden or obvious mental health issues?
Well, it certainly could indicate somebody who's having some sort of a crisis, absolutely. What we have problems with oftentimes is really developing problem-solving skills, compassion, empathy, and anger management. Those are a lot of issues that we try to address with Start With Hello. It may indicate, an isolation may indicate a mental health crisis for somebody. Over time, if you've got one day where you're just not feeling it and you just want to withdraw a little bit and have some quiet time, that's one thing. But to have it over and over every day, that does damage.
And I really liked what you said about the person who normally, and I kid, people who know me well will know, I always say, what is normal? Normal is just a setting on a dryer.
Right.
There's sometimes it's really hard to get a sense of normalcy anymore. But if a typical behavior for a person is very upbeat, very cheerful, very optimistic, and then suddenly withdrawn, that could really trigger maybe not a mental health issue, but like you say, a crisis.
Yeah.
And so when I started talking about the Say Hello program, this is kind of what I used to explain it all. I said it gives kids, families, I think parents, I think teachers, administrators, those tools, those friendly reminders to say, you have to say hello before you can even get to know the person to even know if there's a problem. So is that kind of it in a nutshell what we're talking about here?
Yeah, we want to develop those communication skills, that empathy and compassion.
Yeah.
But of course, the first thing we need to do is recognize somebody
Right, absolutely.
who might just need a smile, need a hello.
And I do think, right or wrong, I'm certainly not here to judge, or I'm certainly not here to point the finger or point blame, but I can see it sometimes when I walk through the buildings in the hoodie, in the up, or the very dark clothing or something. I think there are kids that would say, gosh, I would like to get to know that person, but I probably won't have anything in common with him. And I don't want to say fear necessarily, but I think there's that internal block, like,
Sure.
I think I'll just leave alone. And it's once you just need to say hello.
Right.
You just need to say hello to get the whole conversation started. And I think people will find that as different as we are, the one thing that we seem to have in common is issues and problems, and that even could be the common ground.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
This is a national initiative, correct?
Oh, well, yes, absolutely.
Okay, and so this Call to Action Week is happening not just here in Green Schools, but across the country,
Across the country,
correct?
yes.
See, how cool is that? That
It
we're
is
all
so
doing
exciting.
something together on the very same week all across the country.
Absolutely.
So have you had good response here in Ohio?
Oh my gosh, yes.
And so how did you first bring it to, take me through that process, how you kind of introduced this to Northeast Ohio?
How we introduced Sandy Hook Promise?
The Say Hello, yep, the Say Hello
Well,
initiative.
we've had a lot of roundtables. We've been in Ohio since August of 2014. And so we've created some amazing partnerships with different organizations. We've met a lot of people who are just concerned about kids and kids' safety. And so as I've been traveling around and talking to different community leaders all over the state, I've been able to talk about the Start With Hello Week and get them excited, and talk to our Promise leaders, who are people in the communities who want to have some sort of meaningful action to bring something from Sandy Hook Promise to their community. So this is a great opportunity to do that.
It really is, and I will tell you that when our superintendent, Mr. Miller, you must have really sparked it in him too, because it wasn't that long ago. Like, we have really put this together
You
in
really
a
have.
very short period of time. But he came back, and you know, I know him well enough to say, "Hey, Julie, can I talk to you for a minute?" And when he opens a statement like that, I'm thinking, I better bring my pen and paper and my day planner, because it's going to be something. And he gave me the pack that you had given him, and he said, this is right up your alley. I think we should do it. And I was like, boom, I was hooked from day one. I really was. So,
well,
and I think you spoke to all the superintendents. Is that? Did you? Yeah, that's how it started in our area.
Yes, right? Yes. I spoke to a couple of the mayors. I spoke with the mayor of Canton and Massillon.
Okay.
There were some judges there. There were some superintendents there, people from the law enforcement side, mental health. It was a great event that was held.
See, that is awesome that you had almost all the different walks and facets of people that affect, or at least we hope positively affect, children in our community.
Yes.
So that is awesome. Well, I can tell you, as I said, we are fully immersed in this.
Great.
And we will have a very special call to action. So we have buy-in literally from the top down, and we have something planned in every single building for every single day next, well, for the viewers at home, we're going to be launching this on Monday, February 8th. So I want to jump back just for a minute, though, and I know that the Say Hello program has really been kind of developed for grades 2 through 12. But here in Green, of course, we want to go a step further than everyone else. So we have included Greenwood Early Learning Center, which of course is pre-K and kindergarten.
Yes.
So even though it might be a little different than the set planned assemblies at the other buildings, I want our viewers and you to know that we have it planned for our pre-K, K, and first graders
and that's
too.
so exciting, because compassion and empathy can start immediately. You don't have to wait for a certain reading level or comprehension level to understand the idea of reaching out and saying hi to somebody.
So, and again, I get so excited when I know that every single one of our buildings is working towards this promise and towards this initiative each day. So Monday, we're going to start it right off. We were so lucky to be able to schedule our speaker from Sandy Hook Foundation is coming, and each of our buildings will be having an assembly on Monday. And so I think I'm the chauffeur, actually. So it is going to be a quick-paced day for our speaker. And just because of the size of some of the buildings with the number of kids we have to do 2 and 3 assemblies to make sure everyone gets it. So we're very excited about that. And on that day, too, they will actually sign that promise along with the assembly. And so each school is kind of putting their own mark on it. And I don't want to say they're competing with each other, but they keep emailing me like, Julie, we're doing this. How about this? Do you like this? I'm like, this is, I love it. So I know, it should be really exciting. And then Tuesday, kind of in a combination with the National Random Act of Kindness Week, too, Tuesday is going to be our Random Act of Kindness Day throughout the district. So we have plans at each of the buildings. The teachers are going to catch the kids being good, being very intentional about things. Great little uplifting notes are going to go on the locker. They've just got all sorts of stuff planned like that. Now, Wednesday is the wearing of the green.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
So tell me why green is so important. Why the color green? Why has the foundation adopted the color green?
Well, that was the color for the Sandy Hook Elementary School. So I believe.
And that's what and personally, it's my favorite color. And I have Irish background, so
do I.
So whenever green is the best color. I look at green as to me, it represents life. It represents growth. It represents grass. It represents those beautiful hills in Ireland. To me, green represents all that's good in the world. And so when I learned that it was Sandy Hook's color, I thought, this is great. So we said, wear the green. And the irony of that is we're in Green, Ohio, but our colors are orange and black.
I noticed that.
Yeah. So now we can be, okay, today
That's
we
right.
can be Green Local Schools and wear green.
Yeah.
So we're doing that. So I can't wait to take pictures. I want to see people decked out from head to toe
Yes,
in
and
green.
definitely hashtag start with Hello Week.
That's a great point. We need to do that, especially our high school kids. They love hashtagging.
Yes.
So we will definitely put that out. So thank you for reminding me of that. And then Thursday, we're doing a very special, what is hello in any language, right from the pre-K. So we have some of our ELL students, which is English is not their native language and sometimes not spoken in the home. So we are going to bring them in for the inclusion part of it and have them on announcements or on the videos saying hello in their native language, and then utilize our foreign language students at the upper grades. So that'll be kind of cool. Yeah, I'm excited about that. And then Friday, we're doing the No One Eats Alone program.
Great.
Yes. And we have talked about it as an administrative team. What is that going to look like? How are we going to do that? So we're mixing them up at lunch. And each school has their own little way that they're going to be doing that. And in fact, I wanted to share with you some of these really cool like poster type things. And I have to give props now because this is from Green Middle School. And they have been so creative. So we are going to have these, see someone alone, say hello, and the whole reach out and help. So these were made at the middle school, and one of the assistant principals even sent me a text today with these. She goes, look what we're doing. I said, I got to have these, and I will definitely give props to Green Middle School for this. So this is the kind of thing that the kids, the teachers, our counselors are being so creative and kind of differentiating themselves in very age dependent. You know, we know some of the kids are going to maybe push back a little when we have to say, you know what, you're not going to sit there. You're not going to sit with Annie today. You're going to have to sit with Julie. Like, oh. And so they've got some icebreaker games. They've got little questions like, would you rather drink Pepsi or Coke? You know, would you like Chinese, Mexican, or pizza? You know, it's things like that, and really kind of get the people talking. So we've got that going on.
Fantastic. Well, that goes right along with the program itself.
Yeah.
Just recognizing somebody who might be isolated, reaching out, and starting with hello. Perfect.
And you mentioned when you were first bringing this program here about a week or so ago and talking to all the different parties. And I have to tell you that our mayor here, who just took office in January, so he's fresh on the job, he is embracing this too. So he's very favorable of this. And I am actually going to be speaking at our city council meeting on this on Tuesday. And the mayor is reading a proclamation to say that it is Start with Hello Day.
Fantastic.
Right. So I love the fact that this is not just about Green Local Schools. This is going into the community of Green. And
Absolutely.
my focus on so many different occasions is I want this is where I live, and I want this to be the best place it can be. And so if we can work together with the schools and the city and the community and embrace this concept, then it is a win-win situation.
Yes.
You know, we want no social isolation with that.
Right.
So that's kind of
Right.
what we have planned here. So I'm excited, and I
Yes.
love the hashtag. So anything else that you've heard of schools doing that you feel, oh my gosh, this is just a really cool thing?
Oh my gosh. Well, the amazing thing about our programming is that it's really customizable. We want to make sure that if somebody gets, if someone is inspired to use our programming, that it fits in their culture. There's not a track to run on with our programming. It's all no cost. It's all really easy to implement, but we want to make sure that it fits in the culture of the school. And the best way for that to happen is for the school and the community to take ownership of that.
Yes.
And that's what's so inspiring about the things that you're doing. You have taken this program and made it your own. So it will be sustainable. So it will be a huge success, and I'm so excited.
I am too, and I love what you said too about kind of layering it into what we already do.
Absolutely.
And when Mr. Miller approached me with it, and then we in turn approached the administrators with it, that was kind of our pitch to them. This is not additional, well, it ended up being some additional work, but it was a labor of love. But we kept stressing, this goes right along with our PBIS. I don't know if you're familiar with that. We have the PBIS programs in every school. For example, at Green Primary School, we have a buddy bench that we have out on our playground.
Yes, those
And
are great.
This is all about start with hello.
Right.
This is about saying hello to someone who's sitting all by themselves. Be a buddy. You
Yeah.
might not know them,
Yeah.
but by the end of the conversation, you will.
Exactly.
And people say, don't talk to strangers. Well, my now 24-year-old, when she was 4, told me, well, Mom, if we never talk to strangers, how do we ever become friends? I'm thinking, there's a lot of truth to that. There really is. So we have made it our own, and I'm super excited. And then I believe you're coming back for Celebration of Education,
Yes.
and we will be able to do a big presentation, very multi-generational, so we can have parents, we can have grandparents, we can have students, we can have anybody sitting in on that. And I know I mentioned this, but I'm going to share it again so our viewers at home can hear this, is that our intermediate school counselor, Lori Morgan, she has a trained therapy dog that has responded to many crises similar to Sandy Hook.
Yes.
And her name is Bella, and one of our secretaries, Diane Deedle at the intermediate school, is creating a one-of-a-kind patch with the Say Hello patch that we are going to put on Bella's little work vest.
love it.
And Bella, the therapy dog, is going to be part of Start with Hello and Say Hello. And I believe she may be there Monday, but she will definitely be there for Celebration of Education, greeting everybody. So
Fantastic.
I don't know how many therapy dogs you got promoting the cause, but
don't know.
we're doing it here in
I
Green.
cannot wait to get pictures back to Newtown of that one.
So if somebody here has been fueled and inspired by our conversation, where's the best place to get more information? What would you recommend getting more information?
Sure, the easiest place to get all of the information that they could ever want, really, is to go to our website, which is sandyhookpromise.org. There's information about our programming, there's information about who we are, information on how to get involved. Maybe you want to sign on to the Promise. Maybe this resonates with you. That's great. We
That's right,
also...
and you can do that online. You can go right online and sign the Promise.
You can sign the
I saw that,
Promise.
yeah.
You can become a Promise Leader, which is somebody in the
I wanna
community.
do
I know,
that.
you're going to do it.
That's on my list to do.
There's only one of me here in Northern Ohio, and I, unfortunately, am not going to know the culture and the needs of every town and community or school. And so what we rely on are our Promise Leaders in the community who have concerns, who want to bring us in some meaningful way to the community. And so we have over 300 Promise Leaders here in Ohio alone.
That's awesome.
It really is. So
That
they
really
are
is.
so excited, and they're energized, and they want to bring our messages to keep kids safe.
And I think that embodies almost like the spirit of Ohio. It
does.
I mean, we are so well known for our volunteerism spirit here. And actually, going back to the mayor too, that's one of his platforms, is he really wants to indoctrinate the sense of volunteerism in our community. And here, just in our 10 miles from us, we have the Hall of Fame Festival that uses hundreds of volunteers. And we have the Firestone Golf Tournament every year. And so when I hear that there's 300 people that have signed on as Promise Leaders, it goes to the culture of what we have here and what we want to do and what we want to protect.
Yes,
and
so true.
our children are our biggest commodities.
Biggest.
Yeah.
Biggest and best.
For our viewers at home too, they'll see on their screen that I've also given the website for the No One Eats Alone. So
Yes.
if somebody has an idea, or if you have a preschool child, or you're involved at, a homeschool or something like that, and you see, what is this No One Eats Alone? So I've provided that too.
Great.
And the Sandy Hook Promise, and start with hello.
Fantastic.
I love it. And then real quick, I know the next part of that is of say hello is say something.
Say something.
Right? And I'm
Yes.
hoping that Green Schools that we can go right into that say something.
Oh,
and that's
absolutely.
in the fall, correct?
Well, yes, the call to action is in the fall, but all of these programs can be implemented on your schedule.
Anytime, okay.
Absolutely. So if there is a driving desire to do say something before October, then certainly. But I still would encourage hopping on that train. But say something is our other program that's directed to the youth. It's designed for kids that are a little older, middle school and up. It shows youths how to identify a potential threat, especially in social media, to act immediately and to tell a trusted adult. Because 4 out of 5 shootings, in 4 out of 5 shootings, the attacker had said something prior to it.
Right.
So
Right.
if we had just said something, maybe that wouldn't have happened. It empowers kids.
Yeah, it really does.
It
so
empowers
we need
them.
to say hello, gain strength, gain confidence in doing that, and then be empowered that if you think something is wrong, you don't have to make that decision if it's right or wrong. You just need to say something.
Yeah, we want to remove that filter as much
Yeah.
as we can, because that's certainly, I know when I see something on social media, I wonder, I don't know if I should say something, or I don't know if it's true, or I don't know what they're going to say if I have that, if I respond, and so that's me as an adult.
Right.
How do kids process that?
Right.
So that's what Say Something helps with. It unpacks the idea of being a snitch versus really wanting to help that
Great
person.
point. Absolutely. Well, Annie, it has been a pleasure, and I can tell you, please take back to Sandy Hook Foundation that I sit here and pledge, I'm going to get a little emotional, that we will do everything we can in Green Local Schools to make sure that we protect our children from those monsters that we do see, and empower them and remember and honor those that lost their lives at Sandy Hook, because they are the true heroes. And my heart goes out to them. And I thank those parents, and I would hug every one of them if they were here now and say, you are special and your children were special, and we will forever remember them. It has been
Julie.
a pleasure having you here
Thank
today.
you.
And as a special gift, you are the proud owner now of the Bulldog Buzz t-shirt.
I love
And
t-shirts.
the only way you can get a Bulldog Buzz t-shirt is to be a guest on our show. So
I
wear that
love
with
it.
pride,
I
and we
will.
thank you so much for being here. And good luck with everything. And I will see you as we start our call to action week.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, social isolation is the overwhelming feeling of being left out, lonely, or treated like you are invisible. It is a growing epidemic in the United States and within our schools. Excessive feelings of isolation can be associated with violent and suicidal behavior. Young people who are isolated can become victims of bullying, violence, and/or depression. Well, the Green Local Schools is so proud to join thousands of schools and youth organizations from across the United States in participating in Start With Hello, Call to Action Week, February 8th through 12th. The great news is our 5 district buildings already engage in several activities that connect with the Sandy Hook Promise. Say Hello, Call to Action Week allows us to bring the focus front and center and raise awareness for the need to reach out to and include those who may be dealing with chronic social isolation and create a culture of inclusion throughout our Bulldog community. For more information on the Sandy Hook Promise, please visit www.sandyhookpromise.org. The Sandy Hook Promise is focused on preventing all violence before it happens and honor all victims of violence by turning tragedy into that moment of transformation. Well, that wraps up today's Bulldog Buzz. Thank you for tuning in to GCTV. If you have an idea for an upcoming segment, I would love to hear from you. The Bulldog Buzz is student filmed, produced and edited, and brought to you by the Green Local Schools Communication Department. Remember, Bulldog Strong. It's our school, it's our community, it's our attitude, and it's our way of life. I'm Julie McMahan, and go Bulldogs.